Hello, welcome and thank you for joining the program today. Thank you for sorry, I think I need some water here. Thank you for all your feedback, your comments. During last week, there was no program last week because something came up, so there was no program. Sincerely apologize to that. If you are watching from Facebook, please try to share and invite people to join this program today. Today we have 3 segments today. One is our guest that will be talking or educating us, or maybe has something to tell us. So that's 1. 2 is gonna be the segment of the weekly news. We always hear what is happening in our state, Akwa Ibom. And the 3rd one is Ladies Talk with Ndito from America. So thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Edna. We'll go on a short musical break. By the time we come back, our guests will join us, not live here in the studio, but it's going to be live all the way from US. So enjoy this. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We have our guests, like I said before. So I need some water here, please. Today, don't worry, this program will still continue because we really need to do this program today because of the guests. We really need to. And as you can see, it's there on this. As you can see on the screen, we have our guest joining us from the US. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about our guest today. Our guest is Mr. Clayton Udoh. He's from our back local government area in Akwa Ibom. I really don't want it. And he was born and is living in United States of America now. He's an IT person, so if you are computer illiterate, so just come close to your radio or your Facebook, whatever you're watching it from, and then so that your eye will open. I think it's loaded. So Mr. Udoh is here to talk to us or to discuss the issue that are relating to our state, Akwa Ibom State, and Nigeria as a whole. Maybe if you have something that is very interesting, that you know it's worth getting his advice, then you can call in and ask. And today the phone line is open, so during the program you can call in and ask your question, and then you can, if you cannot, that's WhatsApp calls. If you can see on the screen there, you see that there's a number there, is WhatsApp calls alone for those living outside UK. You can call that, or you can also call on Facebook Messenger. I can also pick it from here for him to answer your question. Like I always say, please, when you ask a question, ask a very polite question so that you too can get a polite answer. We are not here to use foul language or calling people's name. We are here to talk and to discuss like us, like one-on-one, but not talking or being rude to anybody, because the program will not tolerate any caller that calling and insult our guests. We put you off. I'm sorry to say that. So we're just trying to make sure that everybody, you watching at home or anywhere, is okay, and our guests to also feel comfortable being in our program. Okay, enough of too much talk. Let's welcome our guest. You are welcome, Mr. Clayton John, on the Ndito Akwa Ibom radio program.
Yes, Clayton Udoh is the name, and can you hear me? Can you hear me very well?
Yes.
Just to make sure.
I can hear you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, I'm very, very grateful for you to allow me to come into your show, and hopefully we're going to have a wonderful segment. Feel free to ask me any questions. I feel honored. I really feel happy, and I'm hopefully our brothers and sisters back home, will be able to get something, or at least will have some clarification of my stance on certain issues pertaining to Akwa Ibom State and Nigeria and our lives as a whole.
Okay. Before let me quickly ask you. Let me start by asking you, why do you decide to speak out on things that concern Akwa Ibom and Nigeria rather than focusing on your career, like as an IT person? Because there's a lot of your live programs on social media. So why do you decide to do that?
In the end of the story, they say no matter how high a bird flies, its leg still points to the ground. No matter where we go in life, and that's one of the problems that we're having right now back in Nigeria, the clash between who we are as a people and the influence of Western civilization. Who we are as a people has a lot to do with who we originally and what we will always be identified as. Western civilization is actually a game of superiority in which they want to make you believe that their cars, their clothes, what they do, how they speak, how they interact is what should be the norm. But it's unfortunate to see that we see our people tending to go in that direction instead of noticing that it's a worldwide competition. The Chinese want you to believe they're superior. The French want you to believe their things are the best. The Germans want you to believe their things are the best. So we always have this superiority. When I talk about Akwa Ibom State, I want us to be able to also prove that we can efficiently compete in the global scenario of things, be it economical, be it culturally, as the case may be. We don't have to pander, to what is, Western civilization and all these other things. Now, can we get the good things out of it? Absolutely. We can learn from them. We can pick from them what is necessary. Because in the end of the story, whether you like it or not, I don't care how high we go, we have to come back home. We must come back home. That is why I speak about home, because I know we are better. I grew up in some part of my life. I did grow up in Nigeria. I went to University of Uyo. I did youth service. I did everything there. And I know our people are superior enough to meet the challenge. But there is also a crowd back home that believes in mediocrity and the superiority of mediocrity because it gives them the space for corruption and all the other things that should not exist. That is why I'm always pointing back home. I say, see what I am seeing here. Pretty much that's what I try to tell the people back home. This is what I'm seeing. This is my line of experience. Could we pick up something from thinking outside the box? Could we pick up something from seeing things from a different perspective? Because we already have our cultural perspective in which some aspects of it can actually bring us down or pull us back. Could we mix it up? Some of the good things from Western civilization, some of the good things from our own cultural perspective to create this superlative that would take us to the next level. That is why you see me very, very much passionate. I mean, if you look at it very clearly, the kind of resources we have in Akwa Ibom State, the kind of resources we have in manpower, the kind of brains we have, none of us should be here. None of us should be in the United States. None of us should be in Europe. We should be back home. We should be back home living a wonderful life of affluence and of success and of prosperity. But there's this situation where we're living in places that pretty much, it's not like they are much smarter than us. It's not like they're much more superior than us, but it's about organization. And it is something that I see that we can do it if we accept to change our mindset. That is why you see me a lot of times talking about things back home. And I would like to put in one more thing. The world we live in, there were other people who fought to make the world we live in possible. One of the things I want Akwa Ibom my people to change is the idea of selfishness. Before you could come to America to live here, there were people who fought and gave their lives for us to live here. Before you could get into a plane, to drive in a plane, there were people who fought and maybe gave their lives in experimentation of whether planes are airworthy or not. Every single thing that has made our lives possible or easier today was fought by somebody else who gave his life for it. But when it comes to us, we don't want to fight. We don't want to put anything in, you know? And to me, it's a higher level of selfishness that will take us nowhere. That is why I am concerned. I want to be part of those who want to leave a legacy of I wanted change, than just keeping quiet to enjoy what other people fought for.
Okay, Mr. John, now we're still on the issue
Udoh,
of
Mr. Udoh, you keep us safe, John.
Mr. Udoh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, why is John coming in? Oh, it's Udoh.
I don't know.
I don't know about that. I don't know either. So like here in Akwa Ibom State, I'm not working Akwa Ibom State. Oh, sorry. This program we do use two languages here. We use our own local dialect and English. So there, just like the way you are, people may not know you are from Akwa because you are too Polish, you know. So sometimes we want to listen to the about the import, the achero, you know, that stuff. So they know that yes, we are home. So now in the Akwa Ibom now, if I should say, we have this. So I heard about so many improvement. We have airline, we have industries, we have good roads, we have even they are still constructing more. That's what I'm being told. And there's a lot of performances going on in Akwa Ibom State, youth empowerment and everywhere. I mean, how do you rate that?
I rate it as average. I rate it as average.
With all those, because like you can see now, yeah, we have airline now. This is something we didn't have before, and hospitals are being renovated and everything. Performance, youth empowerment, and you rate it averagely. How and why?
Because until you see, I have a different line of perspective. I've been able to see both sides. If you've lived in Nigeria, spent your whole life in Nigeria, or let's say, for example, a worker in a back, you know, or then these are very big things. These are very, very big things. But if you have gone out of Abak or Yo or any of these places, some other place, then you will know that these things are average. Now, I want to, because that your question is a very loaded question, I'm going to also want to correct something. Mediocrity. I said, America, I come 300 years to develop America, right? It took them 300 years of making mistakes. We don't need to repeat the mistakes anymore. People have used this as an excuse, and I'm very glad I'm in your show to correct it. That people say it took them 300 years, so allow us to do 300 years of the same mistakes. No, we don't need to do 300 years of the same mistakes. And that has been proven by us in our lifetime, seeing China, seeing Dubai, seeing Malaysia, and seeing all these new kids on the block who started just yesterday. I was alive to see the time when China, we had no idea even on what China looked like inside. It was a closed society. Suddenly they opened their doors and they told the whole world to come in, and they started this trade. I was alive to see that Dubai was a fishing settlement, not bigger than Ibadan. Okay? Then we've also been alive to watch Dubai expand in a period of 2 or 3 years. So the first side of the question is this idea of the mediocrity. Like, okay, because you don't America, spend 300 years above fan, and make mistakes. Yeah, you're not young, so you can't have the same mistakes for the next 300 years. It's no more viable. Now, here's the other part I want to go into, and you say we can mix English and our native language. There is a book by George Orwell called 1984. I advise a lot of people to read that book. It's a famous book because it talks about the concept of Big Brother. The concept of Big Brother. Government cannot be the say all, know all, the do all of a system. That is communism. That's communism. And strange enough, I even hear people back home starting to answer words like comrade, comrade dum dum, or comrade dum. And I start wondering, is it a communist system? One of the big things we have to look into is a private sector, a viable private sector. Governor Waida Itango Iboke pencil, Kimo and pencil factory. That is what private citizens are doing. Flour mill, private citizen business, small bit. We have to be able to differentiate between small businesses, large businesses, and government facilitated businesses. Government facilitated. When we talk about government facilitated, that is when I want to hear issues like airports, seaports, refineries, big deals, big games, okay, or stadiums and whatever and whatnot. But when you come and talk to me about flour mills, when you talk to me about small projects, and for the average Akwa Ibomite who's never gone outside, these are mighty things. But for people who've been out there, this is what private people are doing, the private sector, okay? The private sector are building this, the next word they started using was cottage industries. It is the private sector. United States, 90% of industries in the United States are privately owned, are the private sector. The government's job is to create the regulation, the playing ground for it to be leveled. And then to taxation is really government's game, not being the know all, the see all, the be all, the money all of everything. And then the people just stand and watch and stare and wonder when will they get employed. So it also has a lot to do with the government's influence on the banking sector to create a private sector that can do these ventures. The average Akwa Ibomite is not mediocre. The average Akwa Ibomite is superior enough to even have these ideas to make the biscuit factories, the battery factories, whatever factory is possible, because the Chinese have done it. We are seeing examples around the world where it is not owned by government. So that's the issue here. A situation where we could have a viable private sector that would create a viable middle class, that would create the wealth that the people need, and not waiting for government to be the old. And that is why we have in that book the concept of Big Brother. And Americans hate the concept of Big Brother. They hate it with everything. Any advanced society doesn't want Big Brother, government that is everything in their lives. They don't want it. They hate it because it creates what we're seeing now in Akwa Ibom State. Those who are involved with government are the only ones seeing the money. Those who are involved with government are the only ones who are succeeding. Those not involved with government are just waiting for the so-called empowerment programs, which in my opinion too are not viable. They're not viable because unless you went out that day to go and stand there in the sun and wait for whatever representative is coming to do some kind of strange empowerment program in which is giving away cassava grinders and things, then I can afford that. How do we have a program where things are distributed to every man, whether he came there or he didn't come there, and it's built in such a way that it leads to them having a true career or a true profession that is dealing with a living wage? Our wages must be comparable to the global standards of what is called prosperity, or what is called at least being a middle class person. Not our own idea of when you give someone a cassava grinder, is there any studies to show us that the cassava grinder has put them above the poverty line? You know, or you give someone a motorcycle, does it change? Does it show us? Do we have any data, anything to show us that it has pushed the person above the poverty line? You see, so we have to look when we're looking at Akwa Ibom State or Nigeria as a whole. The naira must be compatible with other currencies, and the people must have that capital to be able to compete in the global sense of things. not in the African or Nigerian sense of things, you see. And that's where we begin to see changes in the society.
Like you said, there's a lot of poverty, or maybe in Nigeria or in Akwa Ibom, as they say. So the only way these people can be a God model to go with this government or politicians, like you said, to be able to get this money. But now that we have somebody like you, have so much idea, you have a lot of things to offer. Do you, for once, try to talk to the government, or state government, or maybe like organization like Akisan or Mbon Padawai Bibio, so that they can reason with you and see your own suggestion, or what you think can be done to better our states?
My experience has been with our people, and they expect you to come and kneel down with your ideas and humbly present it to them and beg them to see it.
Who?
The state government system, and even Akisan itself. Our people have a way of seeing things. I think sometimes we have to be able, and I think this is what is the thing, keep aside emotion and sentiments from something that works. One thing about here in this society I've lived in is we necessarily don't have to like you, but if the idea works, we accept the idea. We don't have to like you. So, for example, it's not everybody that likes Bill Gates. It's not everybody that likes Steve Jobs, who died, may so rest in peace, who was the founder and creator of most of the ideas in Apple. It's not everybody that likes, what's his name? The guy that owns Tesla right now and also owns SpaceX, Elon Musk. But is the idea viable? So our people have this thing of, if they feel that you have to come in a particular way to give them an idea. Kind of a thing. And I'm that kind of a thing. With the whole idea. And not all of us are very good in pandering. It's something I remembered. I was talking about it with my parents, and they said, well, we didn't teach you that thing. We're sorry. We didn't teach you how to pander. Some people can't pander. Some people just bring their ideas straight up, straight forward, and move. Some people are really good in your excellency, your honorable, a panda, they're very good in it, And me, I'm not good in it. Does it mean that no. Does it mean that no, but I'm not just good in pandering. I'm not just good in it. So the idea now, I think, in today's world that we have to begin to have is, if an idea comes from a person, can we separate the idea from whether you like the person or not? I have learned, and that is one thing I've learned here in this part of the world, is you may not necessarily like everybody you work with, but you have to work with them anyway to get results. I've had situations where I've worked with people who are extremely racist, very, very racist. Like, Mono Trump. And I've worked with them in such a way that I make it clear to them that when it's in this workplace, we will do our work. That kind of a thing. So yeah, if you get me outside, you can kill me, do what you want to do with it. But in here, in the company or wherever we work, we're going to just stick to ideas. And I think that the people of Akwa Ibom State need to start doing that. Leave the idea of Mago Farado, he's outspoken. Or that idea, I said, Neki panda. He doesn't know how to panda. Or Anamasian, that's another one. I said, Anam Tinid Yongompo, that's another one. Anam Tinid Yongompo. Keep that aside. And if the idea is viable, let's use the idea. Let's use the idea. Let's see if the idea will work. Let's implement the idea. Let me, case in point, Akisan, I came back to the United States as a citizen in 2000. Between 2000 and 2019, 2 decades, Akisan has not changed. Akisan has been the same format. What has been the format of Akisan? Ebo Woko, Esin Kekbad, Ama Kemini, President Ben Okoga Dianyong, adding the accounts in the red. I hand over, red, accounts in the red, and no, everybody. Akisan has not changed in 20 years. They do the convention in Negabang, any Mkwaitia like back home, any chairman, any Mono Wemgono will say, Eddie forget about pledge, say pledge your work. But we bought from all over the place, Edia. Then they start that. There's another thing our people have. MID called it activate imperial power. Afode nye we tangi komi mo. Kimo media ko. Afode nye we kodi mo kem komi. Who are you to call me for accountability? And this is one thing that has destroyed the society back home. When you say that only angels can call you for accountability, then there can be no accountability. Okay, media ko. But a fool they angels, so fool you right in code. Yak angel in code and accountability. Yes. So anybody in that particular kind of logic, the idea of accountability is defeated. It's defeated totally because it means only God can judge them. But in this world, whether it's United States of America, whether it's Britain, whether it's everybody, the person who calls for accountability does not go through a character check. If you have accepted to become a leader or an administrator, you are held responsible to the office you've been called in for, and you are not a god. You are a servant of the people. You are accountable to the people who put you there. Case in point, and that takes us to another thing. However, you cannot be accountable to people if, how can I put it? You've defeated the process that brought you into power. That is election. That is a rigged medicine. Then, of course, you won't be accountable to the people. Or you had some other funny means of getting in there. So, but if you are in a position of power, like example, I've given you the example of Akisan, where no idea can penetrate Akisan. Akisan has been there for 20 years and we've not been able to have one corporate sponsor. 20 years. Not Microsoft, not Google, nobody. Nobody has approached, Akisan has approached nobody to get corporate sponsors. But we claim to be professors. I mean, even professors or what, doctor or what, engineer, Mbuni titles, but we've not one corporate sponsor. Akisan, for all that you know, has never been able to do. Look at the kind of projects we do. We'll claim that we've taken so many money to give children scholarship. We don't know who these children are. We don't even see pictures of these children in a magazine to know if they're real human beings or not. Akisan doesn't even have a magazine that it releases to let you know where their money went into to develop what project back home. There's no accountability in Akisan. There's no accountability whatsoever. Akisan, of the 20 years we've been there, has not been able to bring one single person successfully to the United States and put them in an Ivy League school. Of all the money we've... Akisan, and I'm going to say this in this show, may be implicit in the embezzlement of not less than $500,000, if not up to $1 million, through the 5 different presidents that have been there. Embezzlement of people's money. Which, if we have a constant account that has been building up and building up and building up and building up, we could have been the kind of people that could have bring children from back home to go to school here in Ivy Leagues. Now, let's look at the construct of other places that has been like Akisan. Every other country started like Akisan. Maybe the Chinese lobby, the Zionist lobby, that is the Israelites or so. We could have, even if we had effective people, converted Akisan in the end. It would have become a PAC, a political action group, whereby and once you become a political action group and have at least 500 members, these congressmen must come and attend to you. They must come to talk to you during the campaigns because you do not ignore political action groups. And don't forget that political action groups have the same tax exempt status of a 501c like Akisan. It's something we could have done because Akisan is way more than 500 people. So we could have become, in 20 years' time, in just even the first 3 years of Akisan, become a group where every congressman in every state would want to meet Akisan before he goes in for elections. Meaning that we could have stood from here to influence the American policy towards Akwa Ibom State. But that has not happened in any president of Akisan. Guess what? The shame of the century. Biafra and all these funny movements that we're having starting over here are beginning to have political action groups already. Biafra instigated their own last Saturday, inaugurated their own political PAC, BIAPAC, completely registered with the United States government and completely registered. And the first congressman that has agreed to go and talk to them is Al Green of Texas, the District of Texas here. So Aki-san is still doing the same old thing. Enim chairman. The president. I called it out and I had the greatest attack. Those who know my story know that I was attacked beyond. The attack extended into my family, into my private issues, down to I mean, extreme attacks beyond understanding. Every time I've pointed out something to Aki-san or to the attacks are personal. I'm talking about they go after my wife, my children, everything about me to find out what's going on with me. Meanwhile, people who know the truth will come back secretly and say, you were telling the truth. But that, and for the younger, you know, so therefore there's this thing about Akwa Ibom community. Nobody talks. Nobody says anything. So you may not make the status quo unhappy or you get people angry. So everybody keeps quiet and things remain the way they are. 20 years of Aki-san. We don't even have, like, for example, you want to take a flight. They'll give you a code. Say, use this code, representative of Aki-san, to get 40% off the flight that you're coming for the convention. We even in the hotel room, they say, use this. People just come and pay full price for hotels. Use this code for even the rental cars. They don't have it. Okay, use this code for this, use this code. Aki-san for 20 years has nothing to show. In my opinion, based on the standards over here, nothing to show. Aki-san in 20 years has not been able to donate computers to the University of Uyo. I'm talking about here in this country where refurbished computers, I mean IT, you could throw computers away. You can throw things away. Aki-san has not been able. Okay, there was a project I brought forward once. People, Aki-san, who University of Uyo is a place where you go in and you just go in there. I went to University of Uyo in 2017. I've gone there. Whenever I visit them, I walk in there just to see what's going on. Here in the United States, once you go into a university, your computer lights up, your cell phone, the whole place is wireless. Aki-san has not even succeeded. Do you know what it takes to just make the University of Uyo wireless? You know how much it takes to make the University of Uyo wireless? It will take maybe the $10,000, maybe $10,000, between $10,000 to $20,000 to make University of Uyo wireless. Okay. In which every child, when he walks in there, it lights up. Okay. So I'm just trying to point out how things are. Yes.
Yeah. Let me see. Hello.
Hello. This is Godwin Elijah, calling from Italy.
Okay, Godwin Elijah from Italy. Okay. Yeah. Do you have a question for Mr. Clayton Udoh?
Okay. Yeah, I have a few questions. Good evening, sir. Because we're in evening. Yeah.
Good evening, Elijah. I mean, Godwin, right? Godwin Elijah, right?
Okay, Godwin, can you come with your question?
Okay. Please, my first question I want to ask, because the last video I saw my brother did was about Biafra. And I want to ask the question, did he trust these Biafra people or this set of Igbo people? Because I believe on this set of Igbo people that they are betrayers. Sorry to use that word, but let me use that word. How can you trust these people? That is my question.
First of all, let's go into why are you calling them traitors?
I don't know, ma, if you get my question, ma.
Yeah, you said you think they're traitors. To the guest, I think he hears you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for. Let me answer his question because there's no need for me to go back and forth with him. First of all, like I said, our people are not yet used to the idea. Okay, let me go into something deeper. Our people see government as a mixture, a hybrid. Our people don't see government from the real pure principle of what democracy is about. They see our government as a hybrid between democracy and paramount ruler, the clan head, Melbongo, Obongo, Bongidong. That is how they see our government. The original construct of democracy is based on checks and balances. That is why I've had trouble. Because when you bring in the checks and balances, they get angry because Governor, the Obongo, Honorable Excellency, clan head, paramount ruler, a tidong kind of a thing. And a tidong, if you look at it from our local system, you're not supposed to question Obongo. You're not supposed to question Obongidong. No, I'm saying Obongidong atang. Minus that, to go you know song yet. Okay. Now, on that note, anybody opposing the federal government of Nigeria, which is pretty much a lot of what is preached in Akwa Ibom. Even Akwa Ibom may preach about who see them against government. Okay, fine. What has government done for you up to this point? Fine. Let's agree on that. Government also has taken the position of Kimobu, not fear from rainbow, salary. What have they done for you up till now? The present state in Nigeria is Fulani men going around shooting people without even being indicted. The present state in Nigeria is a heavy, I don't know what kind of crime we can describe a crime where people just come into power, loot as much as they can, and walk away. I've never seen anything like that before. Then he's the hero. If I go into government as I am today, maybe I have one house and one car. One day, one house and one car. The people even laugh at you. Honorable Ndok. Honorable Ndok. I couldn't all but what did you expect? You go into government, they loot it based on the ideology of the people, and then they come out incredibly wealthy, commanding the society with the people impoverished. The system is unsustainable. It's unsustainable. I have communication with people back home. I have communication all over the place of people who are in extreme poverty. You cannot put petrol in your generator. You cannot put petrol in your car. You are begging people for school fees for your children. You're going through so many things. And you're waiting for a government that really is not there for you and is doing things in its own whim based on whether we're back at PDP or whether we're back at APC. Now, if government has failed, what is the next step? And that is the question I would ask your guest. He's in Italy. He's not at home to know how bad it is. He's in Italy, according to what he has said. If government has failed, do you still stick with government till you go into your grave? Or is there going to be a situation right now that the Niger Delta region has to now really go back to the drawing board and look at if this construct called Nigeria really works? Ladies and gentlemen, right now for the Niger Delta region, the construct called Nigeria does not work. You may have governors, you may have commissioners, you may have members of the House of Assembly, but when it comes for the common man, the construct called Nigeria does not work for members of it. And now that it has come to the point that people can be killed at will, I mean, I've heard stories that are just ridiculous. Akwa Ibom fighting with the federal government to allow them to do a seaport, or Akwa Ibom fighting with the federal government to allow them to allow Ibom, power station to go online for the general people. There are things that are so unnatural and so absurd that in the end of the story, the Niger Delta region must come to the table to restructure itself. Now, Biafra, let me also go into this man's case. The time, if we want to stay on tribal politics, Nigeria was going to be a disaster. If a movement begins to start the restructuring, okay, let's see how far we can go with the restructuring. We will address the idea of whether whether you know this, because I know the tribal politics behind that too. But the idea of you are going to die with government, stay with government and die with government is really a disservice to yourself, your children, your grandchildren, and the generations to come. Because poverty doesn't also affect you, it affects the generations to come. And there is data and there is research to show that. Yes, my sister. I think I've given a long answer there.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to ask that question before going asking the question, and because for what I know, for the story I've heard so far, I remember my grandmom used to show me one of her toes being cut off. So when we asked her, I said, "Grandma, what happened?" How okay, they come Biafra, stuff like that. For somebody like me, somebody like me, I mean, it stick into my head that oh, this thing is not good. And then also, during that time, there's so much, everything will happen. And then these people always their own side, we always our own. What makes you start supporting them? What makes you think that we can work with these people?
No, you cannot work with them. And here's where I'm going to put to you that you cannot work with them. And those who are insisting that they can work with them, good luck to you. Number one, the Hausa Fulani hegemony. Historically, let's go back into what started all this anyway. There was the Kanem-Borno Empire, which stretches across the West African sub-region. The Kanem-Borno Empire fell. But one thing I can say about the Kanem-Borno Empire is that the propelling factor behind it is Islam. Now, people will say, oh, there he goes. But yes, I will go into that. Islam, Tekpaniko, Idege religion, Ayaka Yaka Womfen, Adida Mokiso, Ade equal. Yo. Islam, even written into the scriptures, Ebo, what Islam, Anada, Kenyong, Mono Womfen, Eda Nyakida, Eda Kiso. It's written in the Quran. I've read the Quran. The Quran has clauses that installs that the person who is Islamic is the chosen one. He is the person that is the man of God. He is in the right standing with God, and that any other religion are infidels and should be put in below. In the world of Islam, Buhari is a purist. He is a fundamentalist. He's doing the right thing by trying to put the Niger Delta region or the southeastern region underneath, and to conquer it through the waterways, through the resources and everything, and do Islamization. He is in the right track. He is doing the right thing according to the religion, what's in the Quran. If we want to look into the history of Islam worldwide, globally, it is not a religion that is peaceful. It is a religion that conquers. It must conquer. That is why I was laughing at people saying, let's do Ruga, allow the Fulani to come in here, and that they will peacefully sit in there and not interfere. You know, I laughed at it. And kudos to Wike, who brought in bulldozer and took out the mosque. He is actually doing the right thing, because these people, their religion does not it does not stick to itself. It doesn't mind its own business. At some point, it will turn and look at the other religion and try to conquer it. What I'm trying to say this is, the Chinese, and I'm going to take us in another level, set up their plans in 100-year increments. That is why they are where they are today. Islam is now beginning to adapt that. We may not see that conquering now, but our grandchildren will wake up one day to see a war that they wouldn't understand how it started. They would come and see a war, our grandchildren or our great-grandchildren, they wouldn't understand what happened. All they will know is that they will be slaughtered wholesale by Islamic people. So, on that level, we cannot work with them. And we have seen over the year, from the beginning of Nigeria till now, we can't work with them. The 1999 Constitution is a sham. It has to be dissolved. It's a sham. Those who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. It's a sham, the 1999 Constitution.
How do you know that?
The draft of it. It's a sham. It's a sham. It's a sham, because those who drafted it did not draft it in lieu of the southeastern state and its considerations for us. Those who drafted, even, in fact, I want to even know who is of great importance in today's world that was part of those who drafted that constitution anyway.
But the constitution can be amended, because we have so many Igbos, so many Middle East people, senator, whatever, they're all there. So, but what I don't understand is what is their job in there?
You talk about the Senate? About
yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Okay. This class of senators are totally defeated. What are they defeated by? By their own greed. Their own greed. No, let's say it on this show. and I include even the senators representing Akwa Ibom State, the greed in them cannot allow them to become idealists. You see, this is one of the things that will be put into contention as far as this show is concerned. Can we have people who are idealists? What I mean by idealists is there has to come a point in your life where you say, yes, there's a hope, yes, there's politics, but that is the difference between us and the Islamic people. There comes a point where they say, this one in my budget, and that is what makes a man. You can do all kinds of things. Even Americans have that thing. Take $1 million or $4 billion and give to American and say, allow me to have an attack somewhere. It's not going to happen. Or take a $5 million and say, here, I'm bribing you to let me build a mosque in this place. It's not going to happen. There's a point at which money cannot buy people. For this particular Senate and this set of senators and politicians in Nigeria, they are totally defeated in any aspect of life because they are always, you can buy them in anything. They're cheap. You can buy them in anything. You can buy them. The ideologies, they're not idealists. So when you have idealists who can, because if there was idealists in the Senate right now, Buhari wouldn't be able to do what he's doing. He wouldn't do a thing. He would have problems. And he would, you see, there's power in numbers. But you see people, they don't want to come out because when there's idealists, let me show you how idealists reason. Idealists will say, you want to pick us? Okay, pick everybody. Pick everybody. You're going to pick people. You're going to destroy. You're going to send EFCC on everybody. You're going to send it on all the senators. An attack on one is an attack on all. The senators don't have that. Everybody is individually playing games trying to protect their little empires, the little money they've embezzled in their states, individual states. And so because of that, they are defeated before the battle. That's why Buhari has so much power, because all he does is he has to poke at the skeletons in their cupboard, and they're finished. Just poke at the skeletons in their cupboard. Everybody has skeletons in their cupboard, but can you be, because when ideology comes in, you can't poke at people's skeletons in their cupboard. If all the senators stand up and say, sir, you're not doing this to us, you can't poke at people's skeletons, because you will have to take out the whole Senate and put them in jail. You know, but our people haven't come to that stage where they say an attack on one is an attack on all. They've not. They are protecting whatever they looted, whatever they've embezzled, which people know, watching this show will know I'm telling the truth. And because of that, they cannot come to a point where they will make ideologies like, for example, the 1999 Constitution. Or they will not be able to come. I mean, there's some bills that should not even come into a point where it should be like the waterway bill now. There's so many bills that it just comes out of committee that shouldn't even survive committee. But why it survives committee with Southern senators in there is because they are totally defeated and they are scared for themselves. They're scared for their little empires. They're scared for the money they have. Because, like I said, there are bills that shouldn't come out. And again, another one too, we should have emergency bills that will limit the power of the presidency. And that's where the checks, when you see, here's where I love this show. You cannot be a true Democrat or true Republican or true statesman in politics if you've not read or you're not educated in political discourse. If you look at how our political system is set, people go in there based on either or not based on how well vested is this person in political discourse. It's not based on that. And Nigeria is the one country I know where legislature, judiciary, all will try to eat ifuru and the executive. In fact, Nigeria is the one place I know where the president can actually take a group picture with all the chief judges. Just like it happened in Akwa Ibom State, where Governor Siondiseme judges, Governor Siondiseme House of Assembly, which is a no-no.
Is there anything bad in taking pictures with people?
Very, very bad. Very, very bad. You will never watch. I challenge you. Go to any true democracy and see pictures of the president of the United States taking pictures with the Supreme Court smiling. It is it's a disaster. Watch. I challenge you on this. I also challenge you on a picture of the president of the United States.
In Nigerian Constitution that we shouldn't, a governor shouldn't be taking the picture with
it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with the Constitution. It has something more to do with the spirit of the system of government you have, which is set in the principles of the government you have, which is set in the. It's just like there are certain things you don't have to write, but which churches abide by. Okay. So you don't have to write about the president shouldn't do this or governor shouldn't do that. But there are, if you know how democracy is set, unless you're not doing democracy, if you know the principles and the spirits behind democracy, there are certain things that are indicative. For example, I don't know how to explain. It's just like me taking a picture with the judge who is dealing with a case I'm in. Even though it's not written in the law, you're not supposed to take a picture with the judge with the case that you are in. It may not be written in the law, but the judge knows not to do that with you because it will show a conflict of interest. So we see lots of conflict of interest in Nigeria, and we see less of checks and balances. We see senators going to smile and shake hands with the president a lot, even from opposite parties, when they should be the opposing force, and you should not be seeing them going down there to play and pander. You see, and these are the defeats of the checks and balances in the system. You understand? Why does this happen? Because the legislature and the judiciaries in Nigeria do not understand that they're as powerful as the executive. The three are like the God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. All are powerful equally. None is greater than the other. In Nigeria, what's the greater arm in Nigeria? Is the executive, president, governor. The rest are servants. While if someone politically knows his place in democracy, legislature can really deal with a governor in such a way that they shut down. Judiciary can also deal with a president in such a way that none of his bills turn into law. There's a lot of things that can be dealt with. So in the American discourse, I mean, show me the day that the governor brought a bill and it was defeated.
There's no way.
I mean,
when you compare America with Nigeria, this is a totally different country. So because our Nigerians the system there is quite different. Like for example, during election, if you conduct election in Nigeria, it's different. The way they do the whole thing and all that is different. And then with America, so like they said,
I'm not even talking about America.
So
my own stance.
How do we get out of these? I mean, because I read so many text messages people keep on sending it to me here. And some people are asking, what have you contribute to make the country better, or even the state that you come from?
It's not my business, and I'm going to point that out here.
With your knowledge as an IT person.
Very good, very good. Here is how it works, and I'm going to point that out right now. And that's the Akwa Ibom thing coming in. If you want my services, hey, my services are here, but I won't come and beg you to bring my services into the States.
Okay, that means you are saying that you are ready.
I have
if
my
they approach you.
I am ready. Okay. If they approach me, I'm ready to contribute what I have to contribute. But the Akwa Ibom thing is
it going to be voluntary, or do they have to pay you?
They don't have to pay me. That's the challenge I'm even putting down. You don't even have to pay me. And I'm putting this challenge, and I'm saying this right now, that most of the professionals over here don't want payment, but they just want to be heard. And that the state has become so big that it doesn't listen to anybody. They just want to do it their own way. And if that is the case, you can't come in and help them. China, Russia, Germany, any place in the world, the power of their societies has been through the diaspora. Go into the history of China. China wouldn't have been nuclear without the help of their diaspora. Everybody's help has been through diaspora. We are the only ones that compete against diaspora. Akwa Ibom competes against its diaspora. That I'm going to say that here on this show. They compete against the diaspora. It has nothing to do with whether there was Sian, whether the young Ideman Canyon or the young Kwan Canyon. Drop it. Okay, contact your diaspora. Drop it. I'm saying it on this show. And I'm going to say another thing on this show. There's nothing about Asiande. There's nothing about there's nothing about it. If these people know this thing, they're in a place that is more see, this is what our people do. They will kill the idea and say, rather, no. And then time is wasted. We're all bad that can do it. Let them do it. Bongi call that you're competing. and I'm saying this now, Nigeria is the only country. No, Yorubas are not though. I take that back. Yorubas are using their diaspora excellently, beautifully. When you saw his Mark Zuckerberg coming to town and Google is coming in, it's Yorubas using their diaspora. Mark Zuckerberg dokodide Yoruba kama diaspora mo. Google dokodide ekedige I mean the CEO Yoruba kama diaspora mo. Akwa Ibom emanawan me diaspora mo. It's a secret kind of a war. No, work with your diaspora. That is one thing. The second one I'm going to say, based on what you're saying here and what we're talking about, is the spirit of democracy. The spirit of democracy. Let us not use America, since we want to go in that argument for Tangado. Let's look at Britain, which we think we are imitating it from. Go and look at how they do it. It's not a hidden thing. We're not living in a world where they say, the worst part now is that we're all with these laptops. I don't know what people are using with their laptops and their cell phones. We can refer to how these things are done. I open up my computer or so and watch the debates in the parliament. I mean, they bring the prime minister into hardcore debates where they actually point at the prime minister the things he's doing wrong. Here, me governor. So we need to commissioner, or if, I mean, like in my own case, they send messages to your parents. They start looking into how to get into your family. You're not or able in here for video for so that we not come in the same for maybe. No, let's be honest, my sister. Have they not asked you to? In here video for? Have they not asked you?
That's really funny.
Stop all these things. No, they've asked you. Anybody that they have problems with, the next question is video for, and it becomes so apparent. So the issue, the end of the story is this. We need to change our mindset in some things. We need to change the way we see some things. And we need to look at the way things are flowing in the global setting of things. You know, it's not, I think for me, the system I have in my mind would even make it better for the politicians. Wouldn't you guys like a situation where there is prosperity? So much prosperity that people leave you guys alone. And then you enter, I mean, in this country, you can enter the supermarket and say commissioner shopping. Oh, wait, nobody cares. Nobody's interested. He goes in, he does his shopping, enters his car and drives home quietly because everybody is doing so well that nobody's bugging him. You see, one of my biggest experiences is when I was an IT specialist with the Department of Education in Arizona. One day I was just in an elevator and there was the equivalent of the Commissioner of Education by my side. Good, nice tie. You know, I'm saying, good tie too. Then he started to explain to me why his tie was full of mathematical formulas because it was math week. You know, and that was it. He went his way, I went my way. I mean, when I was working there, the most quiet offices on earth were the offices of the state government. No crowds, nothing. So quiet. Because everybody has something to do in the society. So we need a different governor, a different commissioner, a different House of Assembly. No, everybody has moved on. Then you live your quiet. What I'm even prescribing is for their own good. They live a quiet life. But it's quiet for you guys, and the world moves on. Then all all say no, all everything, all of everything. The Big Brother of 1984 in the book George Orwell. Funny theory. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Anyway, I think because our time is getting too close, and for me, I've got no question for you. But this is not the first. This is not going to be the last. You're going to be on the program. I think when next you're going to come, because there's so many questions. People are still sending that, but it's just too long. People, when you want me to ask questions, make it a little bit short. When you write a long essay, which one am I going to pick from here? So, and then we need next time. I think we really need to prepare. So you can have the whole show, so they can have the whole talk, and then yeah, so you can have the whole talk. So that I think a lot of people, so many people are interested for what you're saying. From the comment I'm saying, there's so many people. So, and before you let you go, I mean, is there anything you want to let us know? You want to tell us? Somebody like me, Anya said,
yes, send me document for okay. Medicare Akwa Ibom State. I love Akwa Ibom with all my heart, and I love everybody in Akwa Ibom State. I love my people more than you can ever dream of. And me, Rock won't take it. Man, on Kanyaka. No, I get that. But the issue of what I want to tell our people is, and I echo the way we've been thinking. In one ma won't take it. In one ma won't take it. Am I able your politician and yeah, no. You are encouraging them in Egypt there. And then it's time for us to start to tell our leaders to be accountable. And it's time for us to use technology, empowerment and all those things. No, empowerment is a continuous thing. No. It's a continuous process that happens every day of your life. Empowerment. It's a continuous process. And it happen every day of your lives. And that poverty, we call this prison system. For 4 years and already back in election. To go 10,000, 5,000, 1 million man match. Then election man another 4 years. And the young anything you see, whether they get flour mill, whether they do it's something that one person can do. On that line, in such a way that anything you see, one person, even airlines, they plane about it. Umi airlines, government in airlines. Let us say that right now. None of the airlines here are owned by the United States government, and none of the shipping ports or any of these things are. A lot of these things are not owned by the United States government. So let us start thinking on the lines of that. How can we make a society these things? And Canada. Can you imagine where, for example, the airports here, we have maybe 9 airlines of 9 different local government areas, all employing people. Or in fact, Akwa Ibom State will change into something else. So flour mill, whether they tomatoes industry or whatever industry, cottage industry, the government or government there from where they say government. We need to stop that ideology and we need to change the system and we need to start thinking on that level. We need to start thinking on that level so that we can start moving towards that level. Because I'm not only then we start moving in that level. But I'm not then it's communism. It's democracy there. It's communism. And it is okay. It's okay. No. It belongs to everybody. So let every person it can be able to for Kamakemi and I'm here, and let us change this thought. And what be Kubo after the professor. I put with a professor plus I make sure to heaven Eddie, the young one take it and I'm but he didn't tell the cool tangy contact it. No, it has to stop. It has to stop. We must change that ideology too. It's a fun. I love all of you. If you know how I love you and I'm giving you this new way of thinking, you will see what will happen to Akwa Ibom. But let us not have leaders say they win and I win me. They're not more than dumb. We them a pedong. I'm more to call and hospital back Eddie no. Ya through when you come, ya through when you ma'am, ya through I'm from the through.
Amen.
That's what I say. Amen.
Okay, thank you, Mr. John. For being our guest today. I hope we have you again next time. So by then you have, like I said, the whole show, because I believe I can see that you have a lot to talk about. People are enjoying what you're saying. There's so much argument. There's so much, the phone line has closed because the phone line was open. Nobody called. Now people are trying to call to come in. I'm sorry. Till next time, please. So thank you so much. Anyway, so we hope to have you again on the show.
Well, you know where to get me, and again, I'll say this: I'm so grateful to you. I'm really grateful to you. At least you give me a chance to tell the people that I don't hate them. I love them. I want people to think differently. Sinam Yagobion Bakarambagami are they different? Even Britain of Obago is people thinking outside the box, not following one way of thinking, or one way or whatever it is. No, there has to be different way. Just as we are born differently, we must be allowed to think differently. We must be allowed to flow. That is the beauty of society, chaos theory. So, I thank you. I really thank you. I'm very humbled by your actions. And I pray that you'll get more and more quality guests to come in here and to speak their mind and to enlighten the people more using this technology, using this technology to change the society. So I'm honored by being with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Udoh.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna go on a short musical break. When we come back, we will have our next guest, Mr. Ndito Akwa will be here with us with our weekly report. What's it Ndito Akwa Ibom this week?
Sepe,
Okay. Welcome and thank you for staying tuned with us. Now, Mr. Nobong Young is joining us live all the way from Akwa Ibom State with our weekly report. And then let's see what he got for us. Oh, okay, he's here already. Welcome on the program. Hello.
Hi.
You were busy doing some stuff over there, and you were already on the screen. Maybe you didn't notice it. So what has been happening in Akwa Ibom State?
Okay. I want to say good evening to all our viewers and happy new month.
So is there no way they can minimize the noise at the background?
I've just sent you to do that because I've instructed them all this while. I think Nikki has gone out to do that.
Oh, all right. Okay. Go on.
So I want to say happy new month to all our viewers and happy Sunday. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Mba month. And we look forward for a beautiful ending of the year. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Now you become pastor.
Thank you.
Okay, what has been happening in Akwa Ibom State?
Wow. A lot has happened and keep happening. You know, we previously we have a beautiful things that happen, good news for entire Akwa Ibom people. Yeah, our own dear son, His Excellency, distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio. The name is familiar, everybody knows the name. Was nominated and eventually sworn in as the Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a Minister of Niger Delta Affairs.
Niger Delta.
The entire, yes.
Oh, okay. So I hope he has a lot of or maybe we should have a lot of expectation from him, because we had someone before there, Sima Ikere, but quite a people were complaining that he didn't do anything for them.
Okay, so Sima Ikere was actually,
I don't know what Akwa Ibom people will stand to gain, or what they should expect.
Okay, Sima Ikere was actually a managing director of a parastatal under Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs. So he was not actually the boss. So NDDC and OPADET and other agencies of the federal government are under Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs. So Niger Delta Affairs has a wider range. It has a upper power and has a decision making than NDDC. NDDC is just an NDDC, which the Sima Ikere headed, was an intervention agency under the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs. So now, having our own son, our own beloved dear son, as the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, that shows that we have now the upper hand, and better days are coming. Because as the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, he can even instruct the NDDC to do so and so thing in Akwa Ibom State.
That's what you think?
So,
that's what you say?
People, no, that is what it is.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay. All right. What next do we have? What next happen?
Okay. Yeah, we also we did mixture. Distinguished Senator Christy Peñon, my boss, my leader, and Senator representing the Senatorial District, lost his dear wife.
Who is that?
Grace.
Oh.
Yeah. Her Excellency Grace, the wife of the Senator representing the Senatorial District, Christopher Peñon.
Ukarapa.
Ukarapa, yes. Yeah,
the only handsome man in Akwa Ibom State.
Thank you. You can say that again and again. So we lost. So why we are celebrating the victory, the nomination, the swearing in of our dear son as a senator, was struck, and our own distinguished senator representing even the minister, lost his dear wife. And I pray that may our gentle soul rest in peace. She was really a mother for everybody.
Amen.
So
Amen.
that was really exciting and sad within the last 2 weeks that just passed. Then within the week, we thank God, the immediate week now, we thank God for what God has been doing for us. In particular, I think Honorable Idem, who is a Federal House of Representative member, representing the good people of Okanafo and Rowanam, break a generational history as the first ever representative to kickstart an empowerment scheme for his constituencies that amount to 5,000 people. My dear,
let me stop you there. This empowerment has been empowerment. I've been hearing about this empowerment. Even though 5,000 or less than 5,000, what happened to the other ones I've been doing? Because I've seen so many things: the sewing machine, hair, hand dryer machine, and all those ones. So when you talk about empowerment, what kind of empowerment?
Okay, Idem's empowerment really differ from the rest others have been doing.
Is it in number or what it gives or what?
Well, in numbers and actually the standard he has set. The empowerment people give to their subjects. At the end of the day, they go back begging. Some buy them a tricycle, some buy motorcycle, and a drunkard will take it away and had an accident and come back again for it. But Idem's own is a cause for study. Idem set up his own empowerment scheme through skill acquisition training. And if you have already acquired skills, come out and present your skill, what you can do, and how much to set up the business for you. Meanwhile, Idem is an entrepreneur, a very successful entrepreneur.
Yeah, I know him.
In Akwa Ibom. So he has already a model. He has already a model, a standard for himself. He knows how he started. So it's okay. All my constituencies, youth, women, come out. What I will do is, this is me. I started this way. This is what I know how to do. And I got a shop. And for a period of time, this is who I am. Okay, if you are a hairdresser or you intend to be an hairdresser, what is going to be your model? Are you going to operate in a 2-shop or 1-shop? So put it together, come up with a kind of a standard, and he pays the bill. So he had issued out 5,000 forms to all his constituencies, and he didn't mean his word. Bio is not a politician. He just ventured into politics to rescue his people. So that alone has made him won the heart of everybody across Nigeria, because it has never happened before.
I just hope, because what, I have some cases like this. When people do things like this, maybe they have plans in the future, maybe they want to contest for another post in future. They're just trying to level their ground so that when that time comes, they will use it. I hope it's not the same what is I'm thinking or what people have been thinking. It's what is happening.
Okay. So whatever I want to do, people think.
I'm not going to say you're just reporting to us what happened. So I'm just throwing it out to the people there to think. And then those are taking part in the empowerment should be it's our money, it's their money. So they should make use of it now. Okay. All right. So what is this thing I'm hearing about police with vehicles or something?
Okay, yes. I'm able governor, listening governor, very patient governor, because he's a man that accommodated all these qualities. Last week, released the second batch. He has done it previously, that's last year, in the heat of the election. And now, after the election, he did it again. released the second batch of utility vehicle, security vehicle to Nigerian police force. It is not like he's the first, but it is at the right direction to curtail the insecurities that may arise or that are, popping up in the town. Uyo is far becoming a metropolitan city now, a very big city in Nigeria, and we have a lot of foreigners, a lot of investors, a lot of enterprises springing up here and there. So at this point, the security structure, architecture should also be strengthened. So the governor within the week released a second batch of utility vehicle to Nigerian police force. And I am happy to report it and we say kudos to him, because with all the nooks and crannies of Akwa Ibom State will be well secured by the security agencies through their different stratas of strategies and a patrol.
I just hope they use the vehicle for what they said. I want second line on development for instead of them to they can use that to harass the common people of the state, So, well, thank you to the Akwa Ibom State Governor. He has done so well.
Yes.
So well. Okay. And
then a very good one now for Akwa Ibom people. His Excellency the Governor also within the week back on or kickstarted the end of the year farming season. We, the governor, believe in agriculture because through agriculture we then have food security, food sufficiency. And once you have food sufficiency at the doorstep, at the kitchen, at the market, you are best assured of containing the security of the state. So the governor embarked on the new batch of farmers who will go on farming within the end of the year. We call it end of the year farming season. So he embarked on them. He selected 250 young boys and girls who have been trained in different various farming. And the 300,000 naira was released cash to them to kickstart the farming. And within the week too, the governor instructed every local government, and Akwa Ibom has 31 local government area, every local government to set aside 100 hectares of land, 100 hectares of land for farming, because food is even the first you can secure for your people before you then talk of security and infrastructure. So in this content, it was a very good thing to see many of Akwa Ibom youths were trained and actually empowered at the end of the day with farm tools and financial assistance that amounted to 300,000 naira each to over 250 young farmers. And 100 plot of land, by the special grace of God, have been secured for them, each of the local government area in Akwa Ibom State.
Okay, that's fine. Is that all we got for this week?
We can't name it all. We can't name it all.
Another one is said the governor make an announcement of employing 100 medical doctors to be injected into Akwa Ibom's health sector. Which 100 medical doctors? Because we have young and vibrant medical doctors who have just left both foreign and our local schools, who are indigenous of the state, who have come back with their modern, expertise on medical techniques and technical know-how. So the governor, within the week also, announced that hundreds of Akwa Ibom's children, Akwa Ibom's son, will be injected, medical doctors will be injected into the health sector of Akwa Ibom. That shows us that is just a green light of what is coming at
what is coming. When it comes to the health sector, when you have these young men with vibrant heart, with sound mind, with intellectual, go into the system, there is possibility of changes or an improvement. So I want to announce to most of our brothers there who are into medical sectors in different fields, please, the portal is open. Come back and give what you have to your people. The experience, your technical know-how, your knowledge is needed now, and your services. So it is the right time for most of our brothers and sisters who are expatriates in health sectors across the world to also find way in reaching out to our people here at home. Because the governor already has announced 100 slots for medical doctors to be injected in our sector in Akwa Ibom State. That is very good. And within also the week, some time ago, the FDI, Foreign Direct Investment is under the office of the governor. It's a kind of an agency or a board under the office of the governor. They paid a visit to Ibom Tropicana Center, and they went there to inspect the ShopRite mall that is coming up in Uyo. I can say this is good news to the entire Akwa people. I have been traveling to Delta, and Abuja and Lagos. We have ShopRite is a very big,
I hope this. We just pray that let this Tropicana issue come to an end, because I think it has been a long-standing issue in Akwa Ibom State. Anyway, Mr. Enoyang, thank you so much for letting us know what is happening in Akwa Ibom State, and thank you for taking time to join us today on the program.
Okay, please.
Right, thank you. And then still to come, the ladies talk with the Freke all the way from America, but that will be after the short musical break. So we're gonna go, and then you stay with us. welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. This is a third segment now. That's the last one on the program for today. Sunday. Brusani Kobasi. K program in the Ndito Akwa Ibom. Anyway, we don't want to go into that anyways for today. We're gonna go straight. We don't want to waste time because somebody is melting. Somebody is so hot, very hot, very very hot. So we just have to. Say you come do no, very hot. Wow. Well, if you can see there with me, a day producer of Manager Take Time. Let me know when you're putting me on so that I know that who's beside me. You remember those safe or not? Anyway, welcome on the program. And you can say the screen for you. See, in the point I wish I can be laughing like this. All this my face will just go, and I was so happy. Just like the way she's laughing. Anyway, we are welcoming Miss Ndito Akwa all the way from America to the program. We're welcoming our sister Miss Ndito Akwa all the way from America on the show today. How are you doing? Welcome on the show, Mr. Ndito Akwa. Miss Ndito Akwa.
I'm fine.
Thank you. Because things is happening now, or maybe you are missed it, I don't even know. So, okay, Ndito Akwa is here when we talk about. I know there's a segment we said, ladies talk. So, Ndito Akwa is here today. We'll be talking about relationship, how ladies, how we manage our relationship, how we go into a relationship, why we stay, why we need to leave a relationship today. So first of all, I want to start by asking the freak, some we ladies, we find it difficult to stay in a relationship. What always is the issue?
I think it's mostly insecurity, and we women, we have trust issues.
Trust?
We have trust issues. Yes, we do. We might not want to admit to it, but we do. We have trust issue, and some women are very insecure of themselves, so they put their relationship in a vulnerable position. Because if you're insecure about yourself, there's no reason you should be in a relationship, because you have to make sure you're right first before you try to take somebody else's problem and add to your own.
When you say insecure, I mean, how? That you have a man there, like, this is my man and this is me. Why should I not be secure?
Well, if you are in a relationship, if you decided that you want to be in a relationship, that means you and that person have sat down and have a conversation, which number one in every relationship is communication. Communication is the key. But if you yourself are insecure with your own self, you're definitely going to be insecure in that relationship, because you feel like, okay, if he step out of the house, maybe he will go and see one way beautiful past you, or maybe get upstairs or downstairs, and he goes outside and he sees somebody we get upstairs and we get downstairs too. So
wait. Which one is upstairs? Which one is downstairs? I beg. Shine light from my window. This is upstairs and this is downstairs.
Downstairs, yes.
Oh dear.
That makes women secure. So,
but you know that these days there's a way you can do the upstairs well. You can also do the down. At least you can do the upstairs.
There is definitely ways, but when a man see the upstairs outside and he see that the upstairs is all the way up here, And then when you can't reach house, when you call come out time and the outskirts can't come all the way down here, the man go run. So, so you have to be careful. Whatever you show outside, make sure it's the same thing that appear inside, because it's what the man saw outside is what made him follow you to enter the house.
I see. So you're saying that mostly that's what always brings problem in the relationship, because you have to be natural instead of presenting
you have to
a
be
fake
natural
life.
And don't basically, because what a guy is seeing out there, say, okay, I saw you were attractive to me outside, you understand? And men, it's not like they either go for one thing, is that the upstairs or the downstairs. So if you package your upstairs very good outside, make sure the same size with the upstairs they outside, make it be the same one inside, or else now we'll have problem.
So now what we should learn today is that you have to be natural, so for
Yes.
you to keep your relation. But let me ask you, there are sometimes women you can even be natural but you still have problem in the relationship, and then men still go after even people that either don't know the same standard with you. So that can also bring, don't see that that's something that can also bring a problem in a relationship.
No, you just that what you were doing. That's what I always ask men this question. I'm like, okay, if you met a lady maybe you met her at the club and you now decide to start dating her, or maybe you met her, when you met her she was dressing sexy, and then you guys start dating, you now want to change the appearance of that person. There's gonna be problem, because I feel like the same thing you were doing when you met that person, if you want to keep the relationship and keep a spice in your relationship, that has to keep going. Like, you have to have date night. You cannot say, because I have married, I'm in the house, I will now start to tie wrapper. You understand? The man attention is going to leave you, because no man wants to walk into his house and see his wife tying wrapper, or your hair is not done, or you're not wearing makeup. You know, those are things like what I think. I'm not an expert, you understand? I'm just saying that the same thing you were doing before you guys started dating or you guys got married, you still need to keep those things up, so the spices in your relationship will not stop or end.
Wow. So to have a healthy relationship, you just have to make sure that you remain natural and do what you know you've been doing to keep the spices on, so that you can keep on. But like I said to you, there are some men that you can still do this, but they still go outside. Because do we still need to stay with people like this? Even when we try their best.
Well, in that aspect, the only thing you can do is kind of work on yourself. Maybe there's something you're not doing right or you're doing wrong, or maybe you guys need to actually sit down and have that conversation. Because if, things start going left and right, there's a problem somewhere. So you might think that you're doing all you can do, but maybe there's just one little tiny stuff that he wants that you are not doing. So you have to communicate. Ask, is there something I'm not doing, or is there something I need to do? That's all I can say about that, because at the end of the day, you do or you don't. It's up to you whether you want to keep your relationship going. So therefore, you have to do everything possible to preserve it.
So this has to be in one side of thing. Is women, not men. So men don't need to do anything.
Because women put in the most work. Women, we put in the most work. Let's say in a relationship, it's not a 50-50. Women, you're 80%. The man is just the remaining percent. But women are the one that puts the work in the relationship. Because at the end of the day, if the relationship does not work out, they will not blame the man. It's the woman that they will blame.
But in this day, they said if a relationship is not working, just walk away. There's no need staying.
Well, if you sit down and you have done everything possible that you think you can do, and you see that it's not working, and you guys have sat down and have a discussion, and both of you come to a conclusion that this is not working, then maybe it is best to give yourself some little time apart. Maybe when you're away from the person, and the thing that you used to do, and the person did not find somebody that do that thing anymore, maybe that time you start missing you, and start looking for you in your mama or papa house. So
okay, I think we learned a lot today, because we tried to check out if we allowed Ms. Ndifreke to talk. In fact, you would get tired. You would sit down here. She would tell you until you get tired. But today, Ms. Ndifreke comes on the program as a lady who want to talk about lady things and all that, and the ladies, just something that bothers us we need to do, not based on the book. Is natural thing that we need to do, like ladies. Today, Anandi belongs to some group, and she's not going to talk about that. I don't think he got permission to talk about that before she get fined. So maybe next time. But today, I see people keep on sending me texts asking her to talk about that, but no, she's not going to talk on that. So it's going to be next time. Oh, Ndifreke, what do you have to say for our ladies out there before I let you go?
Well, all I can say is, as we go in our everyday life, we always put God first in everything we do, first of all. And make sure that in your workplace, in your home, make sure what you're doing makes you happy, because if you're happy, then people around you will be happy, and when people around you are happy, then things will progress for you and people around you. And to my Akwa Ibomans out there, I really wish that we can all join hands.
And you are speaking English. Akwa Ibomans, blow Akwa Ibom for them.
I am like half, so it's like I will join it in English, but please don't let my mother know, because my mother has this rule. If I enter her house, I cannot speak English.
Okay, thank you so much, Ndifreke, for coming on the program today, and then thank you for giving us this word. I think for me, I've learned something that's today. You have to package the upstairs, package the downstairs, and must make sure it's natural packaging, not fake packaging. That's what I've learned. So good. So some of you are out there, ladies, that you don't have that packaging, or you have the packaging but not the real packaging. I beg, try package that thing well, so that you don't get into trouble. I think I beg you. That's what I learned today. I never know that there's a packaging upstairs and downstairs. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Ndifreke, for coming on the program. So we hope to have you again next week.
No problem.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And today, we're gonna bring our program to an end. And then I hope you enjoy it, from the first guest, and the second, and even our lady here with us. So I want to say thank you so much, and may God bless you, bless Akwa Ibom State, bless everything that has to do with us. And what am I going to say? Thank you.
Mugu stand see as while they come Mugu see they stand and look. Help me! I don't travel. I don't travel. Go front, you no agree, come out for road, make I pass. Now why yet? Now you them send. Nothing way I ever do will go find no for your eye, my brother. Oh, now you them send. Now only you think the good another man. Oh, nah, yeah. Now you them send. Tell me you know fit to leave me as I be. You know me. Oh, now you them send. Yeah. Now you them send. If now you want to see it, tell them say I know they. You know see me. Oh, you know see me. Now you them send. You know see me, now you them send. Say you be my friend, oh now him be say I no go get my own life, yeah. Now you them send, now you them send. Yeah, one thing now you get and you want on my own to public property. Now you them send. Your secret is safe with me, my secret you want on a public on the way. Now you them send. Stand in front of mirror, you go see who be your problem. Oh, now you them send. Yeah, now you them send. Yeah, now you. What I them say, I know they. I know they. I know they. Now you them send. Now you them send. Him now you he be here. What I them say, I know they. I know they. I beg you no see me. Which kind person you be? Your when negativity they pull your mouth. Yeah, now you